Good morning, children. Hello, children. Yeah, I'm offended. You're at the wrong channel. I'm sorry. There's a great Victor Borga quote. Do you like good music? And the person in the audience would say, yeah. He said, well, I'm sorry, you have come to the wrong concert. Good old Victor Borga. A lengthy, more thought out one. This Friday will be the lengthy thought out ones that I've postponed. Hi, Aaron. Recently, I was viewing a video that presented a list of negative traits of social justice warriors. SJWs were defining the video as virtue signaling, narcissistic, moral nags. Here's the list of the traits paraphrased. And then he said, what's your opinion? So before I go over all 12, you want to know what is your opinion of each of these traits? Do you agree or disagree with the trait and why? Have these traits impacted your life and work? Are you aware of how these traits may have impacted the life and work of your coworkers? What coworkers? I've been self-employed for like 8 years now. I haven't seen a boss in a long time. I scared them all away. Family, friends, keeping identities anonymous. Are there any other traits you would add to the list? All right, so let's go through them. SJWs have strong feelings of Schadenfreude, joyful feelings that take pleasure from watching someone fail, take joy in the destruction of people. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Because that's all they have. You could call them whatever, SJWs, communists, socialists, whatever. If feminists, environmental people, generally on the left, though maybe not to the point that they are so activistic like. And SJW will go out and do something in the streets, whereas most people will be a slacktivist and just do something on Facebook or Twitter. Yeah, taking other people down is one of their, that's a deadly accurate thing, a trait about them. I wrote about generally called the destruction principle, where you have two options in life to be a productive person, to have actual value for the rest of society. You produce something good or you prevent something evil. So producing something good is you program a video game, or you're a burger flipper at McDonald's. It doesn't have to be grandiose, but you're doing something of value for society there. Or you're like, say, a cop or a doctor, preventing disease, preventing crime. What else? I'm trying to think. Those are the two main ones. But regardless of the profession, it takes some effort in doing, and certainly some risk in being a cop or a soldier. SJWs want none of that. So what they do is they take institutions that have been evolved and crafted and chiseled throughout the course of civilization, and we have the institute. This is good. Like after a long period that we say this is good. For example, law. It's good to have law, not too much law, but can't have people run around murdering each other. Or this is, profit is good. Having an employer in your town is good. We want the widget factory in our town. Hey, we got the widget factory in our town. That's good. SJWs don't want to work hard and be part of that. So what they will do is they will redefine what is good in society and accuse certain institutions as being evils. Now, in the olden days, back in my day, it was the evil corporations. Today, now it's the evil white man or the evil capitalism, no matter how much these various things have advanced society as a whole. And once they claim that's evil, it's a lot easier to tear something down, to fight the bad, than it is to get a real job and actually produce something of good. I'll explain. Laziness explains everything. It explains everything. And this is it. They're too damn lazy to either stop bad or produce good. All they want to do is take things down because their ego, that's how they get there. Oh, we took them down. I remember there was this, she's dead now because she had cancer. There was this old boomer fuck in Rapid City, and they were like celebrating, her and her worthless friends were celebrating how they prevented the Keystone Pipeline. And then, no, we did that. Now on to this oil rig. And it's like, here you are, lady. You're 65 years old. All you did was get in people's way. You didn't do one damn thing of good. All you did was like suck off other people's tits, hold your damn signs, thinking it was 1968 forever. And I let her have it in a metaphorical sense, not a physical sense. And she was speechless. She didn't know what to say. But that's it. A life of laziness. And of course, she was fat and ugly. It didn't matter. Despite having chemo. Okay, she was wrinkly. But you could tell she was overweight when she was eating. Two, SJWs invent words to accuse others of offenses. For example, the word rapey to accuse someone of sexually aggressive behavior that does not meet the legal definition of sexual harassment or racism. Oh, you need power plus privilege or something like that. Yes, they do that. I don't know, because it's slimy. It's not heuristics. What is that called? Sophistry. It's the coward's way. They're wrong. And so they have to hide the fact that they're lying and they're wrong, to hide their ulterior motives. They got to redefine words. Was my opinion. Do you agree when disagree with the trait? So far, I agree with both of them. Have they impacted your life and where? I'll get the general three at the end. I'll just say what my opinion is and if I agree or disagree with them. 3, SJWs hate debate, discourse, and discussion. They like the terms like problematic and intersectionalism that are vague, overly broad, not so right. They do not want objective definitions or terms because then they're defined, then they're exposed. And you could quickly look. They forget debate. It's immediately you're an ist or an ism. You're a fascist, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're a homophobist. That's if you don't agree with them, then you're, and as SJWs typically will do, no, not all of them, depends on the individual. But if they happen to be of one of these type of groups, then if you disagree with them, you hate their skin color or their gender. It's like, no, I hate your idea. You want to stay, this is all this is. You want to steal my money because you're a lazy fuck. Go fuck off, parasite. You're whatever trait they happen to be born with or claim they have. Transphobic. No, I don't want you stealing. I'm anti-theft. It has nothing to do with your traits now that you cowardly hide behind. So they do not they're not going to, they lack intellectual honesty because they know what they're doing is wrong. They want to steal shit. That's all it is. Don't make it more. I don't care how many doctorates they have in the liberal arts. They just want to steal your shit. Period. 4, SJWs have no ethos, politics, or goals besides the joy they get from persecuting others. Not necessarily. They want other people's money. Here's why sanity. Oh, by the way, Sanity is the Future of Wealth will be published. I'm going to publish that for those of you that want. Otherwise, in the meantime, you could go to my Subscribestar account, subscribestar.com/Aaron Cleary. But Insanity is the Future of Wealth. What I point out is while money and wealth is confiscatable, if you convert your labor into money or assets, now you have a physical thing. Parasites, communists, SJWs can go and take away from you. They can redistribute wealth if you convert your labor into time, into a real world tangible item. How do you redistribute beauty? Because money is not the only thing where you have more of it, people have less, or one has a superior position and you have an inferior position. There's athletics, there's beauty, there's talent, there's work ethic, there's health. These are things that how do you, I go to the gym and I get my bench press up to 180 pounds. You can't just say, well, here's 50 pounds of my bench press, Mr. Soy Boy SJW man. So you increase your bench press from 40 to 70. It doesn't work that way. So I point out Insanity is the Future of Wealth that it's not, they're all fine. They get the money, but they're still going to be pissed off because there are still going to be people objectively superior to them, which is fine. There's people that no one's the best at everything. That's fine. We wouldn't have a great society otherwise. You need people to be superior in other regards, but SJWs can't have that. So it's not so much that they don't have politics or they enjoy persecuting others. It's that they cannot stand when somebody's better than them at something. So it's not. Their politics are communist. That's the financial politics of the economic politics. They want your fucking money, but they won't stop there. And they gotta. It's not persecuting. It's shaming and accusing you of benefiting unfairly. God Almighty, they even have stable parent, not stable parents, a stable household, like nuclear family privilege. I mean, all the types of privilege that they come up with. That's just to bring you down to their level. Where they try and shame, big is beautiful. How dare you adhere to male beauty standard? They shame women now into being ugly, disgusting blobs that they are today. And sometimes successful. I mean, they've successfully gotten women to not be pretty. They've successfully gotten men not to hit the gym. I mean, beauty and handsomeness is gone. The younger generation you get. But yeah, they don't want to. It's not, oh, well, you're good looking, I'm going to get you. Although one could say that's persecuting. It's to make you as ugly and common and basic bitch as they are. Apologies fail to appease SJW. Yeah, you can't. They don't know. They're out for blood. They just hate people. They hate themselves. They hate other people. I'm sorry I lifted weights and you didn't. That's not going to make them feel better, because they view apologies as an admission of guilt rather than an attempt to create common ground for mutual understanding. What do you apologize? You never apologize. Then they smell blood in the water, but you never apologize because you didn't do anything wrong. You apologize for being tall. You apologize for lifting weights. You apologize for being black. You apologize for being born male. What do you apologize for? SJWs have an omnidirectional hate. Omnidirectional. All over the place. Universal direction hate. Hate ideas, ideals, concepts, and traditions. Yes, but keep in mind, these ideals and concepts and traditions have been formed over the millions of years of human evolution, and certainly tens of thousands of years of human society. That these things are good, that you have to, being strong is good, being beautiful is good, working hard is good. It's not so much ideas and ideals, because communism is an idea. They love that idea. They hate work. They hate having to toil, which no one likes, to be perfectly honest, but people do it because they don't want to waste their lives. And so with concepts, ideals, and traditions, yes, over the time, society has evolved that we generally consider certain things. Even in Soviet Russia, like you look at their the space race, the arms race, the ballet, the Olympics, even there, even though you try to enforce the economic concept of communism, they still wanted to show everybody human nature. They still knew what was excellent. What, you think the Soviet guys didn't want to go after the hottest Soviet girl? So they don't hate. It's not omnidirectional hate. It's hatred of excellence. It's the hatred of what is good, because it reminds them that they're inferior. They're lazy. I mean, some of them could, if look, we're all lazy fucks back when we were young. Some SJWs never get out of that. They never get out of that high school laziness, I'm going to play video games mentality. And then some people, it's called growing up and becoming an adult. And they go, oh, but I better go do it. Then if you get to a certain maturity, you're like, whoa, I'm going to die. I want to do my best at something, whatever it may be. That's way too much effort and work. And I think they're ultimately afraid and cowardly of a life of toil and labor to achieve excellence. They never play. You know what? They're really like the Monday morning quarterback. They're the fat. Let's be honest. The fat, dopey, pasty white guy who hasn't walked a quarter mile in his life, who wears another man's jersey, and then criticizes Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees or whoever the football players of what he should have done. It's the Monday morning quarterbackers who they can't even play the game, but they're going to criticize everybody else on how to play it. So I don't think it's omnidirectional hate. It's a hatred of excellence and performance, because that constantly reminds them that they're wasting their life. I guess that's the simplest way to put it. SJW forms alliances, not friendships, based on mutual hatreds. Yes, this is why you can have Muslims and gays hate capitalism. Not all gays, or non-binary community, I guess would be more accurate. They hate America. They hate capitalism. And once we're done fighting those evil capitalists, then they're going to go after each other. You'll notice that feminists don't. If you're a real feminist, you were really concerned about women's rights, the first thing you'd be doing is going to the Middle East. That's the first thing you do. But they don't, because it's not about feminism. It's their hatred of capitalism, which is performance, which is excellence, which is competition, which is you need to have a work ethic to participate in this. You need to survive. You need to support yourself. They hate that. It is only they have, well, I got a trait. I have a vagina, and therefore I'm oppressed. It has nothing to do with treating women correctly, right, equally. If it was, they'd immediately be going to the Middle East, but they don't. And that's why they can align with Muslims and they hate on capitalism. They hate on freedom. SJWs have no sense of proportion. Nothing is a minor annoyance. No, that is because they have to. The way they make money is they're a victim, and therefore society owes me everything. That is their money-making operation. This is why you have academia. I mean, come on. Women's studies, Afro-American studies, Latino-American, Asian culture studies. That basically is just that's a welfare program. But notice see, it's not that I could see through it. I wish Republicans would see through it. It's like, no, we're defunding you. That's horrible. You're hurting poor Asian kids who are wasting their time in that. You could still offer it, but we're not giving any government money for that. But they don't pick up on that crafty little thought. They hide behind a trait. And if you defund something that is a horrible investment for people that take it, typically those that it's targeted towards, which is usually a disadvantaged group, making it a genuinely bigoted or racist or discriminatory degree, you're now immediately accused of being an ist or an ism. But larger point is, they have to always be offended. Otherwise, they're not oppressed. Otherwise, they can't claim victimhood status. Therefore, they can't claim that they deserve some kind of government handout, lower standards, scholarship. I mean, I knew one guy, he got a scholarship because he had dyslexia. Go fuck yourself. Just go, oh my God, I before E. I wonder if spell check will catch that. I really wonder. No, I don't believe in dyslexia. I really don't. I just don't. I've had some honest guy. Yeah, I got dyslexia. No, you don't. No, I don't believe you. I just don't. Maybe you're psychologists and teachers and parents, because that's a real trustworthy group. They told you, no, you don't have that. And if you do, well, I guess tough shit for you, huh? You better try a little bit hard and double check your spelling and your math. But they got money. They got money because I before E and not E before I. Oh my God, I'm a cripple. And that's what you see with that proportion. Everything is a crisis. 9, SJWs take the light of violence in a childlike way. They usually describe violence as punching. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the video of the Black Lives Matters dudes in New York just destroying a raccoon. Not to say there isn't a little bit of that, caveman we have in all of us. But that's the difference between being a savage and being a civilized society. But their violence, yeah, punch a fascist. They've never been in a fight. And if they do, they don't fight fair. They're like bullies. They haven't seen violence. And now, unfortunately, it's turning out, I don't know, this kid in Kenosha, is it the 17-year-old that had the semi-automatic rifle? Then you get shot. Then you get real violence, and then now you're dead. Violence isn't a fucking game. It's not. Even the SJW professor that hit someone with a bike lock, they found him. I think he faces jail time. There's consequences for violence, either legal or the people you're attacking are going to fight back. Unless, of course, you're in Minneapolis, or you're a pussy liberal state or liberal city, and then they just let you burn it down because, oh my God, my values, what do I do? Choose my own self-interest or this political ideology, religion I've been bowing down and sucking the dick of all this time. It's so sad. Maybe I'll go ride in my old neighborhood. You usually got to wait till like 7 or 8 a.m. when most of the people who are on drugs are like passed out. I do want to see. I'm going to be doing a tour of the old haunts of the Twin Cities before I get out of here, of which there are very few left that remain. But yeah, they don't know what real violence is. But they keep going. They'll find out either because a cop is going to stop them, or the National Guard, or they're going to pick on the wrong guy. Not even SJWs. I remember there was a bull. I've told this story before. There was the biggest bully in our school, unnaturally huge. I mean, he was bigger than the adults by like freshman year. And by the way, for all you teachers, go fuck yourselves. You don't do shit all about bullying. What the bullies really ought to do is form a gang, and you go beat the shit out of the teachers and form your mafia and free the kids. That would be the best thing. Hey, I think we're ending school early here, Principal J. And me and my buddies Guido, Biff, and Jacobs. Really can't have a bad guy named Jacobs. He's the nice guy. I say you set us free. It's a nice car you got out there, Principal S. But anyway, so this one bully just tormented every kid. And then all of a sudden in the obituaries, 3 years out of high school, he's dead. Well, unless he wrapped himself around a tree, I'm thinking he might have ran into somebody that was either bigger than him or had a gun. And you see this as well with female SJWs. They go and they're going to take on a guy. The guy just lets them have it once, and they're flat out. And then everyone, you hit a girl. Girls, men and women are equal now. I mean, they don't make the connect. They don't. It's all just to take your fucking shit. They don't want you to have equal rights to them. They want to live off of you, and you can't. It's like a peasant hitting a what is it called? Not the lords. What do they call that? The royalty? You hit a duke. You hit a duke. The duke hit me. Fuck the duke. What the fuck you? You said you're equal. 10 SJWs have different rules for different people. We go. They hold minorities to a different and lower set of standards, or in some cases to no set of standards at all, because they are seen to be less capable. Maybe some of them actually believe that stuff. But don't just set you cannot just focus on minorities. This is very important so you understand SJW and parasitism. That's all this is. It's traits. Race being one of them, yes. Women are not a minority, not a statistical minority. They're majority. They're a disadvantaged group. You have to have a trait. And then this presents a problem. What if you are a white male who's straight, but you want to be an SJW? They're out there. Go to Brooklyn. Okay. How do they get in on the victim? Oh, I got a case of the ahudahudahs. I have a case of the bipolars and the social anxieties. Beauregard, fetch me my fainting couch. I have a dyslexias. Oh my, I have so much dyslexias. Oh, I need a government check and lower stand. Oh, I do declare, I think yesterday I was a straight male. Now I'm a Bulbasaur sexual, and I'm an oppressed person. Beauregard, my fainting couch, and my government checks. I mean, I remember this one. It was a gal. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. She claimed that she was in my dance class. She claimed she had bipolar and was on disability, and she couldn't work. Fuck you. Fuck bullshit. You can take a dance. Wow, it's amazing. Everybody who has like disability can do the fun shit, but they lack the motor skills and cognizance or cognitive ability to do the hard shit. Really? So it's where is it? Hold minorities to a different and lower set of standard. Okay, not just racial minorities. You could say minorities or oppressed groups based on traits, because those whites SJWs want their monies too. They want a free life, a free government. Give me that too. So that's why you see a bunch of lazy idiots marring their faces, oh yeah, I have. They like Pokemon trading cards. They trade their made up mental illnesses and disabilities. Didn't you notice like there was like 100 when I wrote this book? Not to become a millennial. When I last checked, there was 112 different recognized genders. Go fuck yourself. No, this isn't a hobby. Sexuality, sexual orientation is very important. And I'm doing this for the benefit of SJW. You need to figure out what you are. Okay. I'm not saying it's only binary. No, absolutely not. But knock it off with this. Well, I like plants, so I'm a botanist section. No. You're just a bored kid from the suburbs who doesn't want to work and you want to be special. All right. But the larger point is you can achieve quote minority status or by a trait. Traits are great because you don't have to earn them. You either are born with them, you declare you have them, and now you get the give me that's. So I don't know if it's that they don't hold minorities to a lower standards. They are working for lower standards and no standards at all because they're seen to be less capable. No, it's not that. Now maybe there are some genuinely bigoted and racist SJWs that like really view the black man as like some helpless, hopeless, that's the Democrat Party, I think, whether they realize it or not. Like, oh, the little Hispanic boy doesn't know shit, and because he's brown, we need to treat him like a complete retard. Oh, sorry, little boy. I know you're not like me. What's her name? Oh, from Wayzata. Oh, Betsy Hodges, the bitch from Wayzata. Bitchy Betsy. The mayor of Minneapolis before Jacob Fry, a white girl. Oh my God, you poor little minorities that aren't as gifted and blessed as me. From the Wayzata. If anyone took some time to think about it, minorities would be horrifically offended, legitimately offended. But I think most SJWs don't hold minorities, let alone themselves, to these lower standards or notes because they seem to be less capable. They want the free money. That's all this is. I don't care how many doctoral programs they create. I don't care how many doctorates they. I don't care about all the work done in the past half a century by the liberal arts and the social sciences. It's all bullshit. Take it and throw it away. They got a authenticity or veracity crisis now in the social sciences because nobody can repeat any of these studies that have been done in the past. It's all been this big lie to self-rationalize taking away other people's money. That's it. That's all it is. It's very simple. Minority are oppressed victims who lack agencies. Only SJWs can represent them. There's some of that there. Yeah. But I think it really is. They're just doing this to lower standards for everyone. For them. Look, you're not going to find an SJW who's like, yeah, I got a ton of privilege and I'm okay. Oh, I got this, I got that. And if they do have to say, oh, I got privilege and I'm running to help out BLM, or I'm working for this nonprofit, you're not going to find an engineer. You're not going to find a doctor. You're not going to find an accountant. You're not even going to find an honest waitress. You're going to find some like that gal over in Rapid City, this worthless professional activist who just don't want to work for a living. And they're waiting on grant money, or now that these corporations were dumb enough to donate billions over the course of years to BLM. Now they got a little bit of money, and they'll live off of that for 6 months, and then they'll go and protest or whatever and lobby again. So I don't necessarily, I'm sure some of them do hold people to lower standards or think of them as lesser people, but I really do believe they just want to act like that so that they can get more money. That's it. 11, they live in an anti-success world. Yes, because success is hard. And let's also think about over 2 million years of human existence. We've figured out a lot of things. So now if you want to computer science, I'd imagine, in computer engineering, let's just say, boy, we've really pushed the boundaries on that. There's a lot of basic 101 material you got to go over to get to the cutting edge to produce something new. So you got to go through all the human knowledge we've amassed over that and then get to the frontier. And okay, now we got to wrench our brains figuring out something new or create a new innovation or advance the thinking or just simple trial and error. There, for example, in vaccines, it's just trial and error. But that's hard. And again, once again, according to the destruction principle, it's easier to villainize institutions, pillars of society that have made society what it is today, that are good and productive and economic and sometimes great. It's easier to accuse that of being bad, declare that bad, and take it down and destroy it. I mean, look what the barbarians did to Rome. Oh, they thought they believed in magic dirt. Oh, we get to Rome, over on that side of the Alps, the dirt is magical. It turns out it wasn't actually bad. The farming the soil wasn't that good in Italy. Had to rely on Egypt grain import. Anyway, boring Roman. They got there. What happened? Oh, the barbarians then made a new Roman Empire? No, the Dark Ages settled in. They just want to destroy it. It's just, and let's not forget envy and greed, man. Or jealousy, not greed. Everyone's greedy, but envy. They just can't stand. Hey, the Romans made aqueducts. We don't even know what that means. How does gravity work? What do you mean roads? What do you mean concrete? I'm sure there's an engineer SJW. I'm sure there's a doctor SJW out there, but the vast majority of them just do not want to work. Look at their degrees. This is why I wrote a book called Worthless. Not for that. It's to prevent young kids from having the life of an SJW. Oh, yay. What'd you do today? Well, we shat in the streets of Portland. Then we protested. Then we blocked some traffic. I mean, if I was a dad, I'd disown you. But, most dads today are the pussies. So, how do we end the protest? I don't know, dads. You start stop funding your children and you disown them if they pull this shit off. Oh, that's right. Your balls have been deposited at the ball deposit box by your wife. Because your wife's pussy is just more important than society, isn't it? Right? That once every quarter you get access to your woman's pussy. We should just let Western civilization collapse because happy wife, happy. Oh, I couldn't tell my son not to protest because my wife wouldn't give me access to her vagina every quarter. Dear, yes, dear, I will vote Hillary even though she isn't running again. Not that I'm a Trump fan either. Beep, 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 doo. You become a target of destruction by other unsuccessful SJWs. Success prioritizes destruction. Yes, there we go. SJWs seek positions of influence, not power. SJWs do not want to have responsibility. I think some want power. They really do have this belief that, for example, Barack Obama, not that he was an SJW, the first real job, look it up, the first real job Barack Obama ever had was the presidency. He never had responsibility. He was this lazy, spoiled little bitch, frankly, who lived off his grandma, and he'd never worked a job in his life. Never. Okay, there was one time he worked like a year at some company, and then he went on to become an activist and a state senator. And the first real job he had was the presidency. I bet you he was like, holy shit, this is a real job, even though it's government work. But it's a real fucking job. It ages people. And they never want responsibility, but boy, they want the power and the influence. I don't think they delineate between the two. They just think it's, I get to go to the Hamptons and eat great food and declare things like a king. And then if they ever get into a position of power, they got to realize, well, there are responsibilities. Even the commissariat, the apparatchiks, the governing part of the Soviet Union. Yeah, you had to do some work there if you didn't want the whole thing coming crashing down. And so when they get to if they actually achieve it, I'm sure they get a high off of it. But then all of a sudden the real work what you got to do is like, oh no, this is we can't do that. They don't want the responsibility. Now you can do that for a while if you're like a congressman. You could do that like as a activist group, like a nonprofit. Okay, we're gonna go protest here. That's not a lot of work. We just get some buses and hold some signs. All right. And I guess that's as high as it gets for them. Like, I'm a nonprofit director. Oh, yay for you. They want a title, they want prestige, but yeah, they don't want the responsibility. And so I don't know. Every once in a while, you get someone that does have some savviness, some managerial savviness in them. They are probably the glue that keeps any of these nonprofits or the DNC together. But your average rank of no, they don't want to work. They'll protest. They'll do that. They'll go on stand in the street. So there's my opinion about these traits. That's why I do agree and disagree with the traits. Have these traits impacted your life and work? Yes, because in general, most of my adult life, economic growth has been around 2.5%, which is paltry. Because of this, among other general socialist stuff, we probably could have had economic growth around 5%, which means we could have been a lot richer. And I would have had anywhere near the struggle and strife. Like you just start getting, then there'd be a recession, the dot-com crash, now a housing crisis, the Asian currency crisis. Like, fuck. If we had an extra 2-3% growth here, instead of bowing down to this bullshit and tying our economic hands behind our back, would have had more economic growth. So I would have been richer, would have been better off. We all would have been. Not so much me, and it wasn't pronounced as much back then, but every gal was a leftist. Every gal was a proto-SJW, they didn't lord it over you, but if they found out you were a Republican back in the day, they didn't like you. Now, that's just been turned up to 11 or 12. Where I don't know what it's like for you boys. I do know minorities did get preferential treatment going way back into the 90s. That much is true. So there's a genuine bigotry and discrimination there. I remember Dane Rauscher, which no longer exists. The gal says, well, if you were black or a minority, we could help you because I was applying for an analyst position. And me, like a double, let me go, okay. And I wish I had that recorded. Because I would have fucked them up. But that was like 20 years ago. And today it affects, it's not like, there's traffic jams. So that affects everybody's work because, some people decide to clog up the interstate. It kind of makes me sad. Like, I've lost all hope in humanity when I start seeing people burning down their own neighborhood and these leftist idiots just sit there. It's how it's impacted my life. Yeah, I'm moving. I'm leaving. I'm not participating in this. I don't watch the news anymore. I'm a misanthrope. I've gone from trying to do good to society to now where I'm going to capitalize on people. Because most people are assholes. Most people are idiots. Either because they're outright leftist SJWs, light leftists who just vote for this because I'm for the little person. They don't realize what vile evil this is and what they're bringing in. Or even people on the right who are like, all right, what are you going to do? Let's go do something. Whoa, wait a minute. Do something? Well, could you at least not send your kid to a Marxist leftist school and not have the major in stupid shit? Oh, well, he's kind of his own person now. And they're like, okay, fuck it. Just fuck it. So I kind of, how it's impacted my work. I've made money off of it. That's the upside of it. Without SJWs and feminism and all these isms going around, I wouldn't have all you predominantly boys, but some gals, but especially minority men, blacks and Hispanics. We got a higher than average relative to the proportion to the population. We get a lot of minority guys come, you guys know Dre and Juan and all those guys, and they come here. So it's good for me financially, because if these people breed, which they have in the past, SJWs aren't new. It's just a more virulent form than what existed in the past. These boomers bred, Gen Xers bred, and feminism is a huge component because it accounts for half the population, directly affects what in theory is the most important thing, the human race, reproduction. And these women just fail to bring up their kids. Or they brought their kids up under the ideology of could be feminism, SJW, whatever, doesn't matter. It's just that doesn't play in the real world. I get a bunch of you, unfortunately, pained and fucked up dudes like, what the fuck? How do I think? I'm so confused. Well, yeah, because you were at least tainted by your teachers and your mothers, and maybe even your soy boy dads, to believe this Marxist leftist bullshit. And now that you would like to get laid, you're wondering, like, why aren't girls just automatically sucking your dick because you said you were a feminist and you held that mattress with Emma Sulkowitz. It's like, okay, well, here's the, oh, is that how, yeah. You mean I'm not oppressed? Not really. But let's say you were. Let's say people really were bigoted against black people. Is yelling, or should you still major in engineering? It doesn't, fine. Is majoring in social justice studies going to get you $80,000 a year? No, but majoring in engineering will. And you could still, which one do you could still protest. You don't need to go and major in that shit, but at least in the meantime, be you yellow, black, or white, you are children in his sight. Jesus says to go and major in STEM or go home. So yeah, it's kind of a sad thing, but my job would not exist without this. The current form that it is. Are you aware of how these traits may have impacted the life and work of your coworkers, friends, and family, while keeping their identities? Not well. I don't know. Most, all the older people in my life are either dead or retired, and they kind of just ignore it and pat it out because they're out. They know they got like 10 years left, and like they don't care. Some of them are happy they're dying. It's just like, fuck this shit. You deal with it. Like, hey, I'm glad I didn't. Every day I go, oh man, I'm so happy I didn't have kids. So happy. Coworkers. I don't know a lot of guys and gals that work at large corporations that had to deal with this. Not necessarily the work. I know the life, because most of the guys my age, or younger. Okay, let's put it. The guys my age or older have given up in terms of dating. They just don't bother anymore. Like, I'm done. And they're not having kids. The guys younger coming on to like, what the fuck's going on? Nothing's making sense. It's like, they're like, I'd like to date, but we got to dial their expectations in line with what's reality. Obviously, the younger you get, the more SJW the gals are going to be. Every great once in a while, we'll get a gal that wants a traditional family. And they're like, okay, well, are you hot? Sometimes they are. A lot of times they're not. And it's like, okay, well, go be hot. But you never hear because, frankly, gals don't take agency; they never get back. And then I remember trying to set up one guy and one gal, and she what's it called, flaked on him. Fuck. So yeah, the men that I know, it's predominantly men, are just withdrawing from the dating market or having no expectations whatsoever. They're a little depressed, obviously, because that's the number one reason you're here, is to fall in love, maybe have some kids and have a family, but that's off the table. Work, I know, well, like Elkins, he got out because people were promoting minorities and females over those who were better qualified. And I see that trend, especially for those of you who want to be part of the 1099 superior race, regardless of your race or your gender. You guys kind of like, whoa, I don't want even minority guys. Because one guy I know in particular, he is not white, we'll just say. And he works at a large major corporation. And he is getting work. It's going good for him. And I'm like, look, okay, here's the deal. You get as much money and experience you can out of that. But what's going to happen is if you're going to get promoted and you're going to play the management game, they're not hiring people based on the most hardworking. You only got one card, and that's your race. You got a race card. That gal has the vagina card, and she has her sexual identity card, and she could be a quadriplegic, and she could have the bipolars, whatever. Now you have, as you get to the upper echelons of management, psychopaths. Incompetent, inept psychopaths who are not promoted based on the content of character, but rather the color, skin, gender, whatever. And it's a mess. It is an effing mess. And then when you think that corporations, large ones, are not in it to make profit or efficiency, which at least is a unifying thing that everyone can go for, but rather this fucked up Orwellian political mess, the nightmare, the headache. You think corporate politics was bad before. Wait till it's about traits and maybe whether or not you worked hard at that. And so I'm like, no, you don't go, because it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare. So that's why we pushed the 1099 superior race. And then family, co-work life. What family members I do have that thought leftism was all great and everything, now they're starting to worry a little bit. I guess it's just vindication, but I'm so used to that being right all the time. How many fucking times has it happened? Worthless degrees, .com bubble, Asian currency crisis, the housing crash. How many fucking times do I have to be proven right? So now it's not even what, hey, it's like Rambo 27. It's like Aaron gets to say, I told you so 32. Yeah, I told you so. Shut the fuck. I don't even bother with those people anymore. Any other traits I'd add to the list? No, that's about it. That's it. So there you go. All right, any super chats? Oh, there's one. The Competent Man for $2. Economic growth in the 80s and 90s was 4 or 5%. No, no, I know the numbers. It wasn't that high. There were a couple quarters in the 80s that I think one was like even 10%. But no, it was on average. I'll go pull the data again. It's somewhere in the threes. The 80s definitely was a good decade, but it was nothing like the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Nothing like that. Then the boomers came along and they matured in the 70s, and wasn't that a grand economic time? Cappy, tell us about the 70s. Hair. Lots of hair, lots of shitty music, lots of drugs, a lot of divorce, a lot of women who thought they knew better. And then they listened to Oprah, and now they're old spinsters who grandchildren and children hate them. All right, anything else? That's it. All right, questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.